Welcome to another episode. Today we're gonna continue working on the 71 Challenger, doing a lot more wiring. Stay tuned.
Music bed.
Alright, so we dropped off or left off on the last video. I went ahead and mounted the relays right here on the front. I made this little bracket here. I was gonna mount them up here, but the way the hood is with this part, I think it was gonna maybe hit them a little bit, and I didn't want, you know, this part to hit them when you shut the hood. It does clear this barely, but since, you know, I was gonna put them right up here, I decided to put them a little bit lower here. And that's for now. I mean, I may change that, but I think that that's probably where they'll stay. So all these fans are wired up. I wasn't sure. I might cut like little reliefs on the radiator here and put the wire a little bit down later on. But so that's all set. The wiring goes underneath the fender here, and I did put some looms to hold it up here. I connected the main power to the distribution block, and then went ahead and routed the wires inside. So in here I connected it to the Holley Terminator X right here. That's bolt controls, so I'm using bolt controls on the Terminator X, which I probably still have to set up of when they turn on. And the only wire I have left is this blue one, which was gonna be that pretty much the key on power. And for now I'm gonna run this to the old fuse box, because that's that was getting key on power when the key was in the on position. So I just have to run this over there, and so I'm gonna do that now. And then I still haven't hooked up the starter cable to the key, so have to hook that up today. I believe I also need let's see what else. I have to hook up the negative here from the switch panel to the negative side here in the fuse box. And that's, I think that's pretty much it as far as some of this wiring here. So I'm gonna jump into that here now and then just tidy up some of this wiring. Right now it's kind of all a mess because I was just running everything, but once all this is connected, I'll tidy up everything, you know, zip tie things, and eventually actually like this plugs up here, these were extra for different sensors, and so eventually I think when I redo the firewall, I'm gonna take these and just take them out of the harness if I'm not gonna use them. So by then I'll find out. So I'm gonna work on that now. And then seatbelts. I know I talked about the seatbelts. I found them here on my toolbox. So I believe most of them are here, which they are also pretty, well, not most of them, I think a few of them are in here, maybe all of them, I don't know. They're kind of dirty, so I'm gonna have to get some cleaner, dip them in a bucket of water, and then let them soak throughout the day, and then clean them up, make sure those work good. Maybe go get new bolts. These seem kind of, you know, cross-threaded, so maybe get some of these new bolts and then put those on there, because I do need the seat belts. Once that's set though, pretty much we'll be ready to kind of drive the car as it is now in the drag strip. I did throw some WD-40 here on the column to see if if it would get things a little bit kind of looser, which I mean the switch seems to turn better. I'm sure it's still gonna be kind of gunky, but that's kind of all set. So I will probably still also run some power wire to the headlight dimmer switch there, so I can actually have headlights if I need them. So let me get started, and we'll see what we do today. So I went ahead and got this ready. It has a little connector. I'm gonna take the fuse block back out of there, and behind there there's that's how I had it before, temporary. There's a little kind of like a little spay terminal for the main power that was supposed to come in through that firewall bulkhead. So I'm gonna connect that in there, and then I'm gonna run it to my power distribution block up here, so that I'll get full on power, and that'll power everything for now, so like turn signals and all that stuff. And so just gotta get behind there, connect this on there, and then connect it back over here. Once I know the length I need, I can put a ring terminal on it. Okay, so this is the factory fuse block. These metal tabs here, you just kind of squeeze it. There's this one up here, and then you can pull it out. And so back here, you see this little terminal right there. So that's where I'm gonna go ahead and connect that wire. So I can set the camera down here for a second. So this is pretty much the power in that comes from, well, that would have come in factory from probably the alternator outside. So actually, I'm just gonna see if I can get this up to the top there. And then I'm just gonna run this right over there to my power distribution block, right in here. That's right over there. I think I'm gonna remove these heater control rod things, because one, there's nothing under here for the heater or anything, and two, they're kind of, oh, there goes that nut. They keep getting on the way. So all right, and I'll have to tighten this one down here in a little bit, get a ratchet. So same with this ground down here, power. So there's a few things that I need to tighten down here, but saying this fuse block is back in here. So in theory, that's going to keep power to this fuse block, which is going to power everything here under the vehicle. Going to put a zip tie here for all these wiring. I do have to double check, see which of these cables is the one that would have originally gone to the starter, so I can hook up that blue wire, which is right here. And then the one for the fans, it's going to be this little terminal here. It's an accessory, and so this one turns on when the key is on. So, and that'll be for now. Like I said, I could potentially put that, hook up that the fan key on fan wire to my switch panel right up here. Either one would work. I think just for now though, I might just hook it up to there, so that way it's with the key. So I think I'm still kind of deciding. I may just do it with the switch. So cool. So I got to tighten that up, extend that. I'm gonna get my voltmeter and just check which one of these is for the starter. Hook it up to that blue wire that you see kind of sticking out right there. These are going to the brake light switch, and these are, I think one of them is just for the sense the signal for the lockup torque converter. The other one goes to the Terminator X. I'm not sure 100% what it does. Something, you know, controls the fuel injection or something, but I'll have to zip tie those nicely under there as well, just to make sure they're not on the way of the gas pedal. And that's it. So starter cable and then the fan wire, and then I can start tying up everything under here. The car running. I had it running for a little bit, so it's up to 191 degrees. It's actually learning the you know, air fuel ratio. It's, you know, but starts pretty good, starts right up. I did mess up on the connector on the fans. I had it to the wrong plug, so they were turning on right away. I just had to switch it to the right one, but switch turns on the Terminator. This thing cranks it up right away. No noise or anything like before, so that starter was the one that was making that weird noise. I'm just gonna let it run for a little bit, and then I'll show you guys everything that I wired so far. Okay, so I went ahead and finished wiring everything, the switch panel. So I have my Terminator. The middle one, I ended up actually running a wire for my headlights because the headlights weren't working before, and so that wire is just to the dimmer switch. So once I turn the middle light switch on, it turns on the headlights, and I can control high beams, low beams with that dimmer switch. So for the meantime, because I don't know what's going on from the factory switch, it's just not turning the lights on. It turns the running lights, just not the headlights. So and now I'm not really gonna get into the dash right now, so that's kind of for now, and then later we'll see if I need a new switch or whatever. This last switch here controls the electric power steering, which I still need to hook up. I went ahead and got all the wiring, as you saw. You know, the ignition switch for the starter actually turns it really fast right away. Turns good. Starter sounds good now that it's not hitting the flywheel, so keep that in mind. And then I just gonna zip tie all the wires together here so they look a little bit nicer. This is not the end product, but you know, it's looks a little messy, but better than before where all the wires everywhere. So I did also add the backup lights. So actually I put them to this little light here, and then I also ran a wire for the backup lights on the back, which they actually work. So the transmission has the output for the backup lights, and so I just run that into this little light, so it turns on when you turn the reverse. Actually, it might work right now. You don't have to turn it on, I'm pretty sure. There you go. So that's on. It says reverse in the middle, so that's factory reverse, and the backup lights should be on now. I also wired the overdrive switch from the computer, from the transmission, so that one the car has to be running, but I hooked up the overdrive switch here on the shifter like the Mustang, so you know, turn it on and off, and then this little light here, when you have it off, it's gonna be on. When it's on, it's just off like that. So that's all hooked up. All the outputs for the tranny, that's it. So that is all hooked up. I did get some power for those things from here, so there's a couple of fuses already that I use, but that's it. And then I did run the power to the fuse panel, which the wipers should work, and all that. So that's pretty much all set. This is the only one that's kind of just sitting here, and it will be sitting here for a while. This is for tachometer, so once I get a tachometer, I don't think the factory one works on the dash, but eventually I do want to get new gauges, so this is the trigger for the tachometer. That way you don't have to run, well, honestly, I don't even know on these engines how you would tap into it, so the computer actually has the output for it. But that's it. Pretty much all the wiring is all done at this point. The fans did end up working the way they are. I had the car running for a while, as you saw in the clip earlier. They were turning on right away, but that's because I had it hooked up to the wrong plug. So on the harness from the Terminator, it said inputs, outputs on one connector, and that's not the right one. The one that actually has the outputs and inputs has a 1 and a 0 labeled on it. So I don't know, maybe I just, you know, read something wrong or whatever it is, but that's why they weren't working. But now the little ones were on. The engine never got to 205 degrees, which is, I think, when the computer turns on the second one. You know, probably once I drive it that would work, but everything did work pretty good. And it was in the learning mode, so I do have to drive it, looks like, quite a bit, have it different throttles, so it learns all the different things. So with that being said, I don't know, I mean, if I go to drag strip like it is, it's not gonna probably run right, because it hasn't learned at different RPMs, so I'll have to do that. So that's gonna be it for this video. Next thing to do is to actually get on the road and drive it, or maybe go to the drag strip and just kind of, you know, run slowly. I do have to hook up the power steering hoses, so I'm gonna work on that next. I have the return, and then the pressure one, I do have to take it to get made somehow. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.